It's time for a little comedy, a little content, and a lot of conversation. It's the Geno Jones Show, exclusively right here on YouTube. Now here's your host, Geno Jones.
Hello, what's happening, everybody? I hope you had a great weekend like I did. Shout out to everybody that helped me celebrate my birthday. Oh, by the way, listen, I'm still celebrating. It's May. So I'm a May baby. We celebrate the whole month of May, the Geno Jones Show. Monday, May 23rd, 2020. I come to you live Monday through Friday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. in Chicago, 3:30 p.m. out on the West Coast. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Please share, like, and binge watch. So they say subscribe, like, and share. I say subscribe, even folks you don't know, that folks you don't like, strangers, aliens, tell them all to subscribe to my channel, share, like, and binge watch this and every episode. So let me get right into it today. Since I was talking about birthdays, it's May. So Geminis, stand up. Gemini, stand up. That is your time. Happy birthday to one Maxwell. Maxwell is 49 today. If you did not see him perform Lady in My Life on the Billboard Music Awards a little over a week ago. Not yesterday, but the Sunday before that. You got to check it out. Oh my God, he killed it. And shout out to, whoever his stylist is, that jacket. Man, that jacket with the light hitting it in, it looked like all the little bedazzled diamonds or whatever it is. It was just blingy. And then he had the gloves to match and the tie. So, I normally don't bite on people's style, but Maxwell, I got that one, partner. Shout out to my cousin, Greg Alston, who had a birthday yesterday. Happy birthday, cuz. He is like a tailor and designer. He is the truth. Armani and Versace, Tom Ford ain't got nothing on Greg Alston. I'm just telling you, he and Allie Jones, my baby girl. So I digress. So, and happy birthday to my queen. Yes, my queen, the queen of my soul, the ultimate love. Really just made me a much better person than I probably would have ever been, just to be honest, her and my daughters. Happy birthday, Mrs. Jones, me, and Mrs. Jones. No, hey, your ass ain't Luther or Patti LaBelle singing either. So, Patti got a birthday tomorrow too, by the way. Miss Patricia Holt, AKA Patti LaBelle. So happy birthday, honey. Love you more than life itself. So let's get right into the show. So remember, I'd say on May 3rd, as a matter of fact, so Dave Chapelle was doing a show, doing a comedy set, and then this dude ran up on the stage and attacked him. But man, Dave Chappelle's security, boy, it wasn't like when Will Smith walked up there and slapped the taste and the hearing out of Chris Rock. Oh no, boy, Dave Chappelle's security. Man, Dave Chappelle got that Mike Epps top flight security. Man, they beat this dude's arse. They didn't beat his ass. They beat his arse. As a matter of fact, they beat his arse so bad, he wants to sue Dave Chappelle and Dave Chappelle's top flight security. So anyway, this is a young dude, I think like 23. His name is Isaiah Lee. So he has spoken to the public. I guess, one of them jailhouse phone calls. Because everybody want to know, dude, what the hell? Well, what made you go and attack Dave Chappelle while he's on stage doing comedy, doing a stand-up routine, doing a set? Well, according to Mr. Lee, he said he was triggered. He was triggered by apparently Dave Chappelle's, Dave Chappelle's been accused of being anti-trans. He's done trans jokes a lot. And so it's been a lot of, there's been a significant number in the trans community and outside that thought he crossed the line. And there's a lot of folks that felt that, okay, look, he's a comic, it's comedy. I digress. But Mr. Lee was triggered and he said, since I am bisexual, Mr. Lee, said he was bisexual. He's part of the LGBTQ community, and he was triggered, and he was standing up, defending his community. There are other ways to defend your community, bro. I'm just saying. How did that work out for you? Got your ass beat and in jail. Ain't no telling what's happening to you in jail, but then again, you might like that. But I digress. So, all right, let me segue. Listen, every day on the Geno Jones Show, listen, vote like your life depends on it. Voting matters. Elections have consequences. Voting matters. And let me just say this real quick before I bring on my guest, who I'm really excited to talk to. Okay, where do I start? Because it's so many places I can start. I hear the complaints. Well, what has Joe Biden done, and what have the Democrats done? I just want some of the same people that are just saying, because you have a lot. Listen, I hear this conversation comes up in the barbershop, comes up in the hair salon. It'll come up sitting around your house at a cookout, at a card game. Anyway, it comes up in church, comes up on social media. What is Joe Biden? What has the Democrats done? Listen, if I really have to tell you, then that's a whole different conversation. So I am not a paid Democratic spokesperson, but I will mention the Voting Rights, 18. So let me see. The Voting Rights Act in the 60s, the Civil Rights Act in the 60s, 65, 66, the Fair Housing, the Civil Rights Act, Voting Rights Act. I could go on and on and on and on. Healthcare, Obamacare. But I digress. But what I never hear in this conversation is like, what has especially this modern day MAGA, radical, racist, right-wing cult, what have they done for it? You should be asking, what have they done to, and what are they doing to black people? Unleashing, really just igniting and energizing the anti-blackness and the racism and the anti-Semitism, the anti-Muslim hate, anti-immigrant, anti-Latino, Hispanic, I could go on, anti-LGBTQ community, sexist, misogynistic. Now the Supreme Court is going to reverse the Roe versus Wade Supreme Court decision and allow many of these states to basically make having an abortion illegal. So what is that radical racist right wing MAGA cult doing? They're banning books, abortions, and black people. That's what they're doing to you. That's what they're doing to you. And if you ask, well, if the Democrats, they're not doing this enough and they don't fight enough, then what are you doing? Take over the damn party. I will say this, and this is not a compliment, but this is an observation. This is strategy. That whole MAGA cult, they saw that they could take over the Republican Party, following their leader. I call him Orange Hitler. Really, Sarah Palin was really like the template. She was the test case. She was Orange Hitler, AKA Trump, really in drag. If he put on a dress and put lipstick on a pig and had on glasses, Sarah Palin was Orange Hitler before he was. Just that whole anti-blackness, anti-democratic. Because it isn't just black folks and brown folks and gay and lesbians and trans and queer and bisexual folks. Women, not just women of color, white women, and white men too. Oh yeah, they come. Listen, they came for the U.S. Just remember January 6th, all right? The majority of the people that were in the Congress that day were white. Who did they want to hang? A white man who was a Republican. Built a gallows in front of, on the top of the steps of the U.S. Capitol. Built a hangman's noose, had a gallows chanting, hang Mike Pence. So they don't like the government. They don't like black folks. They don't like brown folks. They don't even like what. They don't like white folks that are anti-racist. They don't like women. They don't like hell. They don't even like themselves. Okay. They don't like Jews, Hispanics. They don't like nobody. Asians. Okay. But what are they doing? You have all these people who stormed the Capitol. One of them is running to be governor of Pennsylvania. They're running to be Secretary of State. Why are they doing that? Because they understand power. And power is something that sometimes money can't even buy power. Because if you got the power, if you decide, you know what, this power means more to me, and I can do more with the power than the money, because the power determines how the money moves. Come on, y'all. Game recognized game. I wrote the book about relationships, but that's game recognized game in any walk of life. So to my young brothers and sisters, I'm going to say this again. In the 90s, there was a group, it was a dance song, kind of like a dancey, yeah, really more of like an R&B dance song, not really house. Just Google I Got the Power by Snap, a one-hit wonder. I got the power, boom, don't, but-a-don't. Had a bumping, thumping bass line, driving bass line. You got the power. Yes. So instead of complaining about what the Democrats are not doing in the White House or in your city, take over the damn party. All right? Revolutions are for the young. Political revolutions, study your history. The civil rights movement in the 60s, Dr. King was assassinated at 39. Dr. King began his civil rights career in his 20s. John Lewis was in his early 20s. All these civil rights leaders started off, they were in their 20s. You got the power. Use it. It is your turn. Us OGs in our 50s, 60s, and you could go to 70s and 80s, they chilling. It is your time. You are going to inherit a democracy or destroy democracy. You got the power and you choose. But if you choose not to vote and complain about what folks ain't doing, instead of taking over the damn party and doing it yourself, getting enough like-minded people, you are the change that you seek. You got the power. And I so admire my millennials, my Generation Z. I got a daughter that's a millennial and one that's a Gen Zer. And I love you all's energy. I love your sense of humanity, compassion, in spite of the brainwashed murderer that murdered those 10 souls in Buffalo, or the brainwashed murderer who murdered 9 people here in a church in South Carolina about 7 years ago. For the most part, my millennials and Gen Zers are collectively most tolerant group that of humans that I've seen in my lifetime. All right, listen, let me bring up my guest, but she can speak to you all, and I believe she's a millennial. It's not because she's a baby, but I know she ain't a baby boomer. And even if she's a Gen Z, she got a baby face to be a Gen Xer. I'm sorry, a Gen Xer, like us Gen Xers. All right, she is the South Carolina organizing manager for an organization that I truly love. As a matter of fact, Sister Latasha Brown, Latasha's been a guest on my show one time. And I've been waiting to get Brother Cliff Averill back on the show with Black Voters Matter. So let me bring her on camera, repping the South, they say the South Kakalaki, repping the Palmetto State, April Richardson. Hello, April, how are you with that beautiful smile? Look at you, got that $1 billion smile.
Thank you. I'm doing well, Geno. I really appreciate the opportunity to be on tonight. I am a millennial and a Gemini. My birthday is actually on the primary, June 14th.
Okay. Wow. Well, okay. All
Yeah.
right. All right. With Gemini, stand on up there. You repping with Maxwell and Patti LaBelle and
Good
Prince.
company.
Prince was a Gemini. That's right.
Yeah.
Right. Prince was a Gemini too. His birthday is in June. I think it's the first week. Yeah, first week in June, if I remember correct. Okay.
I think so. Yeah.
All right. So listen, thank you for being patient. It's Monday, so Friday. I took Friday off. Friday was my birthday, so I had a lot to get off my chest. Um, Now, as a millennial, is there anything in my monologue when I wanted to really address my millennials and Gen Zers? But that applies to us Gen Xers and baby boomers. But I hear so much, and I've seen the data that, and I get it. I understand the frustration that a lot of young people have, especially. Well, look, man, we went out and voted, and we got Joe Biden in office, but we didn't get Jamie Harrison in the Senate here in South Carolina, and we didn't get some other brothers and sisters or like-minded, just anti-racist white brothers and sisters that were in a position to where you wouldn't have to worry about Joe Manchin and Kristen Sinema. You got to understand that, it's a long game. And, you just can't vote one time and like, okay, the job. No, it don't work like that. Because the other side, they never sleep. They always scheming, trying to figure out a way to rig the system. But I just want you to speak as a millennial and somebody that's really putting in the work. I mean, your life dedicated to activism and really just Black voters matter. Listen, the title says it all. What would you like to add to it, or just give us your take on just the frustration and in some cases apathy, which is heartbreaking, and I get it, but maybe it's being a part of that generation. I'm sure that there's something you can say that can probably get their attention and ears that an OG like me can't. So I'm gonna give you the floor.
Well, thank you, and I hope that I can do that justice. But what I'll say is that a part of Black Voters Matters philosophy, and BVM is a C3 organization, C3C4 organization based in about 11 states currently that does a lot of work at the grassroots level. So our focus is what are our communities on the ground already doing, and we look at voting as one of the tools in our arsenal for Black empowerment. So it is one, but not the only. And I think, speaking to encouraging people to utilize that particular tool, what we have to kind of acknowledge first is, and I think you've already said this and done a beautiful job of that, is that they're not wrong for being frustrated by the system. When people make the statement, and actually Latasha Brown, one of our co-founders, will make the statement that, when people say my vote doesn't count, that isn't necessarily wrong. Your vote matters, your vote is important, but there are systems at work to suppress those votes. I think a phrase that we hear a lot is that if it didn't have weight or power, they wouldn't be working so hard to try to keep it from you. Yes. But I think, again, what we've got to look at is that when we talk about voting or being, civically engaged, that it's a multi-pronged approach. I think a lot of the conversation that we've had in previous generations and even now is people coming out, 4 weeks before an election saying, you need to be registered, you need to vote, this is important. This is about your community, your future. We use all those buzz phrases, but we don't really talk about the fact that that is only a small piece of that pie. So when you're talking to somebody who says, hey, I did what you told me to do last time, and I'm not seeing the differences, we can keep it super local. City council, I voted for a council person, but I'm not seeing the kind of things in my city or my town that I wanted to. Are you attending city council meetings? Are you, requesting meetings and following up with that person that you elected? Even if the people in your city council are not individuals that you, personally chose, they still work for you. Mm-hmm. Are we, showing up and making those requirements known? Are we coming together as a community and having conversations about what we want to see and what we expect? And are we holding them to that? So voting is kind of how we get to pick the person we feel like best represents us in that area. But then we still have additional work to do. We have to not only hold them accountable, we have to be clear about what it is that we're looking for. Oftentimes in this process, and I think can also lead to a bit of the disillusionment that millennials, Gen Z, but I mean, just really everybody can have it at certain points. Is you'll have a candidate show up at your local church or a community event, and they'll tell you what they're going to do for you. Yeah. Have we ever thought about telling them what we want them to do for us? Does your community have a platform that they need a candidate to align with, as opposed to a candidate coming and telling you, well, this is what you'll get from me?
I like that.
Yeah. So it's one of those things where I think the disservice that's been done is that we haven't been having that larger conversation about civic engagement. That, the power isn't just in casting a ballot. It's in setting agendas, whether it's at your city level, your county level, your state level, and then at the national level, but also that these people really they owe their jobs to you. I think what we've seen with, certain movements and spaces, whether it's MAGA or anything else, is that they have a base that they are very much concerned about. I really love the point where you said that, power doesn't even always have to involve money. It's not that group necessarily are full of wealthy individuals. There definitely are some, but that if you upset or anger that base and they move against you, you lose. I mean, people will lose their careers, even if they're not politicians. There are people, that have television shows and podcasts and things that are spewing things that they don't even necessarily agree with, because they know that that's what's going to keep them on air.
Yes.
So, our power, we kind of have to start redefining what that looks like. And then also what's required of us to make a system that was not designed to serve us work for us. And acknowledge that, no, that's not the only way. There are a lot of other areas that we also kind of have to, but definitely have to take a look at to be effective. But there's a strategy to politics that we have to be better engaged in for this to really be effective.
So June 14th, well, first of all, in Georgia, that primary is tomorrow. Here in South Carolina, we're here in South Carolina, the primary is June 14th. So let's do this exercise here on camera. You and I are going to walk into like all the barbershops, the main barbershops in the hood, outside the hood. Shout out to Markel Bailey, the official barber and hairstylist of the Geno Jones Show with designer cuts. So we're going to go by designer cuts, but we're going to go by hood cuts and hood hairstylists. And the great thing about barbershops in the Black community, I'm just going to speak for our community. Barbershops and hair salons, where the sisters go, are almost like town squares for the community. There have been places where, in the barbershop, you hear any and every kind of conversation. Politics, sports, you name it. Yeah. You can hear debates about it. All the barbershop philosophers, and I'm sure the same thing in the hair salons and in the braid, the twist salons. Folks have those conversations. So you and I, we're gonna make the rounds to South Carolina and let folks know why it's so important and empower them and say, listen, you got power that you don't even realize. How important, and you said it best, if you didn't have so much power, why do you think that so many people are working so hard to keep you from using it? That should be the tell right there. Right. Anytime anybody's working so hard to keep you from doing something, that's telling you, well wait a minute, well, damn, what are they, why? Something is going on. Why are they working so hard to keep me from doing something? What are they afraid of me, and what power do I have that they are so afraid of? So I'll speak to the OGs second, but you going in, ladies first. When we walk into the hair salons or the barbershop, you're gonna speak to the millennials. I'll speak to the OGs that's still dealing with apathy or some other issues. But we in the barbershop or the hair salon. So we want to make it real simple, as Brother Joe Madison says, put it where the goats can get it. Or as I say, make it easy enough for a third grader to understand it. If I could put it on a bumper sticker on a headline, in essence, how would you address the millennials about the importance of not just June 14th, but November 8th? And every election, like you said, from local dog catcher, council person, mayor, to senators, governors, and the presidency?
Absolutely. So I think it comes down to this, So we've got this primary coming up on June 14th. So what the primary means is we're basically picking who's going to be in the running for this job, this final job in November. So it's the first round of interviews.
Like it.
And so what we want to do is have the best candidates possible. Now, I'll fully admit, I don't really like a lot of the aspects of most of these jobs the people are applying for anyway, But what we're trying to set ourselves up for is an opportunity to put people in office that we can actually communicate with and have a relationship with. Yes. I'm not guaranteeing you that your life is about to, fundamentally change. But the reason why we continue to do it anyway is because what we've got to start doing is setting ourselves up for success. So think of this as a ladder and a process. So we want to make sure that whatever we're doing, whoever we have to work with, that we've got some leverage and some pull. And so the first step in doing that is picking people that know that they report to us and not the other way around. So the primary is our first leg of determining, okay, who looks like I might be able to do something with this. I might be able to work with them. And then in November, we're making our final decision. And whatever we decide, for some of those positions, it's 2 years. For others, it's 4. When we get down ballot. So then that's who you got to work with from here on out. It's not a perfect system, but the only way that it's going to get any better for us is if we start making these decisions. We show up.
And some of us should be running for office. Like I said,
absolutely.
If you don't like the way the party is handling business, take over the party. So do that. So listen, before I let you run, I know you, and I appreciate your time, but before you run, I want you to speak to something you and I talked about off camera. But it's something that we want you to be alert of. You have a lot of states folks, they are purging folks, especially purging folks that look like me in April off the voting rolls, because like I said, they don't want us to exercise our power. So these states, they have changed the voting laws and what you can and can't do, and you make sure that your name is on the voting roll and there hadn't been any funny business. So April, you want to speak to, I know you want to speak to that, so please, I wanted to make sure that I let you address that before you get out of here.
Oh, absolutely. So the main thing that I want people to take away from this, if nothing else, is to remember the website scvotes.gov. That's scvotes.gov, G-O-V. And that's where you're going to get all of the up-to-date information as it relates to elections. You can, find your county information, but that's where you can go. There's a tab called Voters, and you can check your voter registration and make sure, if there's an issue, that you get that corrected ahead of June 14th. But the big change as it relates to laws here in the state is that the way that we absentee vote has been changed as of May 13th. So in-person absentee voting is no longer a legal option in the state of South Carolina. If you want to vote before June 14th in person, we now have early voting, which starts on May 31st, runs through June 10th. You can also find this information on that same website. And so what that means is you don't have to have an excuse, but that is narrowing our window of time. So if you plan to absentee vote, meaning your only option is to mail that ballot in. So that process still exists and it stands as it is. But if you are planning to vote prior to June 14th in person, we're now early voting. That window is shorter. It's about 2 weeks prior to that election. And your location options are different. So you need to reach out to your county board of elections. If you're not sure where to find them or how to get that information, you can literally Google the name of your county board of elections, or again, you can visit scvotes.gov and be directed to that appropriate website. To get the phone number or to find an email, I would suggest strongly that you call and make sure that you know where you need to go to early vote, because that is new. That is a change. It's like I said, that law was just signed in on May 13th. And this is impacting our primary. This is also going to be the way that we do things in November. So it's really important that people know that that's different, especially if, for my younger generation, if you're assisting, you usually take your grandma, your auntie, or somebody else to vote, make sure that they know that things are different and that window of time has changed.
And if somebody is confused about where they should go vote, where would you tell them to go to find that out?
So you need to visit your local county board of elections. They're right now going to be your best bet for getting that accurate information. Eventually, our cities, our municipalities will get better about that. But your county board of elections, they're the ones who run the election in that county. They will know first.
So to check your voter status and just to make sure that they didn't purge your name off the voting rolls, Whatever.
scvotes.gov,
Oh, they
or
can
your
check it
county.
there? Oh, you can check
Yeah.
your. Oh, great. Okay, didn't know that.
You can
Okay.
go right to scvotes.gov. There's going to be a tab that says voters, and that's going to have all of your information about when to vote, how to vote, but then also to check your registration to make sure it's valid. You can also go there if you need to register to vote. Now, that won't, if you haven't registered already, you won't be able to vote in this primary, but you can go ahead and get yourself ready for November.
So one time, real quick, I want to go over. So the absentee voting, so the only absentee voting we have here in South Carolina is by mail. And what's the requirement for that? What are the limitations? What can and can't we do? What's the process basically?
Got you. So the quick version is, so absentee means that an excuse of some sort is going to be required. So typically that means that you have an employment obligation where you know that you're not going to be able to vote or be in place to vote on June 14th. If you're taking care of someone who's sick or disabled, and you know that means that you're not going to be able to vote early. So that's the other thing. Now, because we have early voting, your absentee excuse has to mean you can't vote early either. For whatever reason, you can't come in person, and you're also not going to, ahead of time or the day of. So those are going to be the big things. And so those requirements are also listed on that website. There is an absentee voting tab, and it explains that you have to request an application. So you want to make sure you have that, because you're going to want that to be in the mail well before June 14th. So that's going to be, those big things. So there also, the application is changing. The existing application is good as long as it's postmarked by May 31st. June 1, we get a new application meeting these new requirements. So you have to stay on that. Like, these things are changing. Like I said, definitely make sure to call your county board of elections, check out the scvotes.gov website, and make sure that you're keeping up with those changes.
And I'm encouraging people to be poll watchers, because we need some poll watchers to watch the poll watchers, because the poll watchers call themselves watching us, looking for it.
Absolutely. Legal Defense Fund is actually hosting a series of virtual trainings for people to be poll monitors. The first one is actually tomorrow. So if you Google South Carolina LDF, that's the Legal Defense Fund. You can definitely get more information on that, and I can make sure that I get you that link, Geno, as well. But yeah, so they're doing them Tuesday. There'll be 2 more. One of them is in person, and it'll be in Charleston. So be on the lookout for that as well, so people can definitely still get trained.
And where can they go to get that training again?
So the best bet is going to be right now, I think, to search for South Carolina Legal Defense Fund.
Okay, gotcha.
And then find that information on their website. But I will definitely make sure that we're sharing that out as well.
So shout out to my Gen Zers and my millennials. Yeah, you want to be a part of the action. Keep an eye on the folks. Keep an eye on the MAGA folks. All right, they was talking about they got to keep an eye on us. Well, we need somebody to keep an eye on them, keeping an eye on us. We can play that game too. So make sure you have it together. April, listen, you did a great job. You want to give everybody the information where they can find you, Black Voters Matter, and if they want to support the organization. If I'm sure you guys are always looking for volunteers, if they want to be a part of this. Yeah. And I fully co-sign. And you are part of the Geno Jones Show family. So I'm just letting you know now, I will be tapping into your expertise and beautiful smile on a regular basis. So just be ready. keep your weekdays 6:30s open. Let everybody know where they can find you and follow you and find out more about Black Voters Matter on social media.
Absolutely. So if you go to Black Voters Matter Fund.org is our website. And so all of our social media handles are there. But definitely Black Voters Matter on social media. You can actually also, to get tapped into our network, there is definitely volunteer tabs on our website. But people can literally just text the phrase "We Matter" as one word to the number 25225. And that opts you into our system. So we're not spam texting. We're keeping you up to date on local elections, national movements. And you can also click on some links to join and get more information about how you can volunteer there as well. So definitely visit the website, visit our social media, or like I said, you can send the phrase "We Matter" to the number 25225.
And plus, they got the meanest, or as the kids say, the drip or their swag. Man, the Black Voters Matter drip. Oh, y'all got, as a matter of fact, please send your boy something. Y'all got to send your boy some more of that Black Voters Matter.
I got you. Just let me know what you need. We've got t-shirts, hoodies, all of it.
Just the whole, I want the whole Send me the damn store. I'll be your official model, spokesmodel. I rock everything.
I like it.
All right, April Richardson. She is the South Carolina organizing manager for Black Voters Matter. Great job. I'm looking forward to having you back on the show because I know you all are fully committed, and you know I'm committed. So I'm looking forward to working with you guys and being a partner. And we get some stuff, make some stuff happen. We are the change that we seek. So let's not, we talk about it. I talk and tell jokes for a living, but I'd rather be about it and do it. Thank you, April.
Thank you so much. Y'all take care.
All right. All right. I got a chance to meet April at the Black Expo here in, it happens in, what was in March? I'm just moving something right here. And as you see, very impressive, just beautiful spirit, brilliant, and he really knows his stuff. And I love the organization. Shout out to Latasha and Cliff Averill, Latasha Brown and Cliff Averill with Black Voters Matter. They're headquartered out of Atlanta. You've seen Latasha Brown and Cliff on Joy Reid show all over, CNN, MSNBC. You've seen them on everything. They do a great job. Thank you for letting me be a part of your life. As always, God bless each and every one of you, God. Most of all, thank you for letting me do the Geno Jones Show. Once again, I come to you live Monday through Friday, 6:30 p.m. You got that? 6:30 p.m. Eastern, live. 5:30 p.m. in Chicago, 3:30 p.m. on the West Coast. Please tell everybody you know and don't know, everybody you like, love, can't stand, hate, it doesn't matter, strangers, aliens, to subscribe to the Geno Jones channel. Please subscribe, share, like, and binge watch all my episodes. I got a shout out. First of all, let me shout out Mother, how are you? My #1 fan and my executive producer. Shout out to the Big Picture Podcast. What's happening, my man? And shout out to Promoter Man. Everybody in my chat room, I appreciate the feedback. Thanks a lot, everybody. And I want to thank everybody that supported my birthday celebration weekend. I had a great time. Shout out to La Creme, D. Middleton, LaMonica, the whole staff at La Creme. Big shout out to my man, Marcus Allen, R&B singer. Listen, he is up next. I'm telling you, between the Grammys, the BET Awards, the Billboard Music Awards, the Soul Train Music Awards, Best New Artist, he's gonna be carrying home some trophies for some of these R&B songs, R&B and rap collaborations. Shout out to Sean Dobie. The new single, so Marcus Allen performed Slide, one of his new singles, produced by Sean Dobie, who is killing the game, who is super producer, whose name you're gonna be here, or you're going to hear being mentioned. Is, man, who is this brother? Who is this hot new producer killing the game? Yes. His name is going to be mentioned up there with like the in-demand producers. So shout out to my man, Sean Dobie. Marcus Allen did his thing. He blessed me and he performed. As a matter of fact, you can check it out on my social media. He performed that song Slide live. All right. And then yesterday, shout out to the Mimosa Me Please movement, Jeremy Williams and April, and everybody that came out. So from 1 to 7. So the first 3 hours, it rained. The last 4 hours, it was sunny. We were good. So I want to thank everybody that came out, everybody I got a chance to meet, and everybody that just came out and supported. I really appreciate it. Like Heavy D said, got nothing but love for you, baby. Got nothing but love for you, honey. Speaking of Heavy D, rest in peace, power in paradise. Heavy D's got a birthday coming up tomorrow, too. The next live edition of the Geno Jones Show is going to be tomorrow, Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern. And on Wednesday, South Carolina State Senator running to be our next governor. She'll be running in the Democratic primary. Mia McLeod, who's been a regular guest on the show, will be my guest. Oh, and I got a shout out. Speaking of showing me some support and love, shout out to South Carolina State Representative Crystal Matthews, who is running to be our next United States Senator to get Tim Scott and send his ass out of here. Shout out to Representative Matthews. She stopped by our Mimosa, the or the Mimosa Me Please event that was celebrating my birthday. And thank you for the wonderful gift. It was like a little 6-pack of small bottles of like Sprite. And she like bedazzles them. They had like glitter, bedazzled. It was really sharp looking. And it looked so nice. I said, I can't open this and drink. She said, well, you got to drink some or one of them. I'm like, I just want these to be like a collector's item, just to sit there and look good. My grandmother used to have like, she called it the whatnot shelf. It's like what not to touch. I guess what she could, those are the whatnots, like what not to touch. And she had a shelf of like all these different little collectibles, just a lot of different things. So if I had a whatnot shelf, that these specially bedazzled design bottles of Sprite would be on my whatnot shelf. So I want to thank everybody once again. Hope you enjoyed the show. And I can't wait till tomorrow to come back. I love it. I missed you guys Friday. It was my birthday, so I did not. I was going to do a show, but I was like, okay, it's your birthday, man. Take one day off, all right, because you're always on your grind. So it served me well. So I was blessed. Every day is a blessing. Every day is a gift. Yes, it is. So until tomorrow, Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. Once again, I want to thank everybody for watching, and I want to thank April Richardson with Black Voters Matter here in South Carolina. Thank you for being my guest. We'll see you again real soon. The primaries, once again, the South Carolina primary, June 14th. Shout out to folks in Georgia, my ATL family. Yes, your primary. Stacey Abrams running to be governor. I see her on TV right now. Shout out to her and Joy Reid. She is running in the primary. She'll definitely win the primary. Running against, it's a rematch against Brian Kemp. Brian Cheat. Woo, boy, that's Georgia. And then shout out to Reverend Raphael Warnock, who's running against Herschel Walker. That's all I'm gonna say on that for now. I ain't need to say it. It's just some of us have no sense of pride, no sense of dignity. We will just prostitute ourselves. We will sell our soul to the devil. We are so happy on the plantation that we will fight you and cut you and kill you to stay on the plantation because Mass is so good to us. I said it and I meant it. But you know what? Just vote for Brother Raphael Warnock. That'll take care of that. You don't want Herschel Walker representing you because he ain't gonna represent you. He'll be representing that MAGA crowd. So he'll be representing anti-blackness. But now y'all get to see the real Herschel Walker. He been repping anti-blackness. Like I said, all skin folk ain't kinfolk. I'll see you tomorrow, 6:30. One last thing, I love you, each and every one of you. I really do. And as always, be blessed. Pray for peace. Thanks for watching.
Subscribe and tune in to the next episode of The Geno Jones Show, exclusively right here on YouTube.